Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and welcome back today to another video. We have had an update on the progress of Bramley-Moore docks. Yesterday Everton started their preliminary works for the new stadium at Bramley-Moore docks. The Blues will carry out essential tests and surveys before a spade can be put in the ground to officially begin construction on the club's new 52,000 seater capacity stadium. Everton hope to be in that position as soon as possible, and there remains confidence that the full works will start at some point in the second half of this year. The Blues of today kick-started preliminary works as the club continue to press ahead with ambitious plans for a new home which could open in 2024. So a brilliant update there regarding Bramley-Moore docks and the progress of the stadium. I know some fans have become a little bit worried recently with Bramley-Moore docks and the fact that we haven't heard an update in quite some time. And I know generally when there's silence, there's speculation, and that those moments of silence are filled with all sorts of speculation, and a lot of it has been negative about whether or not Bramley-Moore dock will happen, or whether or not it's behind in its schedule, or whether it's behind the sort of dates that were originally put to us by the football club. But there you go, Everton coming out yesterday. That was via the Liverpool Echo. The Liverpool Echo had an exclusive article about Everton starting their preliminary works on Bramley-Moore docks. Practically means that there'll be surveys carried out, there'll be tests carried out all around the area of Bramley-Moore docks to, of course, ensure that when a spade is finally put in the ground and construction can begin on the stadium, and we actually start to see various different bits of construction going on, it is absolutely 100% safe to do so, which is the next step really. The preliminary works were the next step for Everton to take. Of course, you can't just get planning permission and then just go and lash a load of equipment and resources onto an area and then build a stadium upon an area that you haven't fully checked over and surveyed and done various tests to make sure that everything is fine, and that once the stadium is built and starts to be built, it's all going to go up with no issues whatsoever. Apparently, specialist firm Boscalis Maritime are sending a boat out onto the Mersey to carry out various checks on the dock. Some of the tests have been done previously but not recently, so again, just updating those tests. The team will survey the bottom of the dock and check for any unexploded devices, as well as looking at the state of the dock wall ahead of the planning in filling. Again, probably unexploded devices, maybe coming from the war times there. Everton will be provided with the results of the tests done on samples of the wall to understand how much needs preserving and how much preparatory work needs to be done before it is filled. The Blues, in conjunction with contractor Lang O'Rourke, have also instructed the team to carry out a survey of microbiological organisms that may be attached to the dock or living in the water. Engineers will also be on the site today, which was yesterday, to recover panels and materials which were placed at Bramley-Moore dock to help fully understand the climate of the plot by the Mersey. The findings will also help the club update their extensive heritage plan for the site. Everton received planning permission from Liverpool City Council in February before the government chose not to intervene beyond reviewing the plans. Since then, the club have been working on fulfilling the conditions of their planning application and are yesterday in a position to undertake preliminary work. So fantastic there to get an update on Bramley-Moore dock. Like I said, in a situation where we again, there was a lot of fans that were sort of filling those silences with speculation and maybe filling those silences with a little bit of uncertainty because we hadn't heard much about the stadium over the last sort of couple of weeks, months or so. Obviously, we've had all of the stuff with the manager over the last couple of weeks or so that have taken the front pages, transfer news regarding players as well. The end of the season had happened, so the stadium had sort of been put on a back burner in our minds as fans, but certainly not a back burner in regards to Everton Football Club. There'll have been various members and people at Everton Football Club who have been working tirelessly night and day, even throughout the whole manager situation and even throughout the season, on the stadium plans and on getting to a point where preliminary works can start as well. So let's not get it sort of, let's not get it confused. It's not a situation of that Everton had just left the stadium and that was it and we didn't know what was happening with it. There have been people working constantly night and day on the stadium, that was just in the background and wasn't really at the forefront of the news and the headlines, etc., of course. But it is an update, and it's a really exciting update as well, because it just keeps us, up to date. It keeps us in the loop with what's going on. We know now that the reason as to why there hasn't been a spade in the ground, if you like, as that saying goes, or the reason as to why we haven't seen any actual construction going on at the stadium yet or at the site yet is because obviously various different essential tests and surveys have to be undertaken. I think it's very easy to go from the assumption as to that once planning permission is granted and once a planning application is accepted, literally the next day you can turn up and you can just start lashing loads of resources on and literally start building the stadium from that point. But with an area such as Bramley-Moore Dock, of course, and with it being on the riverbed and with it being a derelict area, of course, there's a lot of surveys and a lot of tests and a lot of things that have to be undertaken and have to be checked through thoroughly before any work can be begun or before any construction can be started, really. And that is understandable. Look, the club probably come out at the time and said, listen, a lot of tests are going to have to be made and a lot of various different surveys are going to have to be put out there before we can actually start working on the stadium and before we can actually start working on putting a spade in the ground. And I know a lot of fans are getting to that point now where they're sort of thinking, don't bother giving us updates on the stadium, don't bother telling us what's going to be done or what might be done in the future, just let us know when officially that it's being built. I still see a lot of Evertonians that have that mentality that they won't believe it's happening until they're actually sat in it watching a game of footy, watching an Everton game, which is fair enough, and I get that. But ultimately, look, this is a big update and it's a big piece of progress, and it's really exciting as well as to state that Everton can now go ahead, like I said, start those preliminary works and actually start those surveys and those essential tests and get the companies out there to fulfil those tests and make sure everything's up to date. And this is because Everton are doing it the proper way. Maybe Everton could have gone about this in a different way and already started works on the stadium and already put the spade in the ground, as you like, but it wouldn't certainly have been done in the correct way, in the correct manner, and that could have meant that there was issues in the future, whether it be when the stadium's up, whether it be in 5 years' time when we're watching football in the stadium, or whether it be in a couple of months' time when we're building it. There might have been issues that come apart then, whereas now doing it the right way and doing the tests and doing the surveys means that we're eliminating all of those possibilities that any issues could come up in the future, so that when construction does begin and ultimately when the stadium is built and we're all sitting in it and we're all cheering on hopefully a very successful Everton team, there's no issues that are going to arise that would have been brought up had we have done these tests years before when the stadium was in its sort of earlier stages. So that's why Everton are doing these tests, and I assume that as part of the planning application and the planning permission from Liverpool City Council that the government have not intervened with, I assume that part of that was the agreement that these tests would be taking place and these surveys would be taking place to make sure that everything is as safe as possible and that there's no there's nothing that could possibly intervene with the construction of the stadium, and there's nothing that could possibly intervene with the future of Everton Football Club, which is obviously vitally important as well. So there you go, that is the update coming out of the football club yesterday, and that is that Everton have started preliminary works on Bramley-Moore Dock. They will survey the site, they will send out various different companies to survey the site and do various different tests to make sure that it is absolutely suitable to build a brand new 52,000 capacity seater stadium on it. I'm sure they know the site's suitable anyway. They just want to do those final tests to make sure that everything's okay and nothing's come up since the last time the site was tested, because obviously it wasn't very recently. So again, positive updates, positive news, and hopefully those tests can be done and dusted. And like I said, as the article said from the Liverpool Echo there, Everton are expecting to be able to start construction in the second half of this year. And the second half of this year is anywhere basically from now onwards, isn't it? Because we're in June now, 15th of June, practically bang in the middle of June. And obviously that's 6 months into a 12-month year. So the second part of the year is anywhere from now onwards. So hopefully we start to see that work and that construction beginning sooner rather than later, so we can all have something to be a little bit excited about. But that is the latest news on Bramley-Moore Dock Stadium. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. You might think, Cam, I don't care, let me know when there's a spade in the ground and construction's being started. Or you might be thinking, yeah, brilliant, at least we've had a little bit of an update and we know where the stadium's up to. But like I said, it's always good and it's always important to get an update from the club in regards to the stadium, because you know, as with any situation, whether it be the stadium, whether it be the manager situation, whether it be players, whenever there's silence, that silence is filled with speculation, and that silence is filled with uncertainty and doubt. And that means, you know, silence often means that people get this idea in their head that, you know, things are changing and things aren't going to happen, or things are going to happen, this, that and the other. So it's always nice for the club to come out every now and then and say, no, everything is still very much on track, everything is still very much where we want it to be. This is the next stage, and this is the stage that we can begin today. And once this stage is over and done with, we can start to actually sort of make some progress and start the construction on the stadium as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So there you go. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed it, leave the video a like. That is the latest on Bramley-Moore Dock Stadium. We'll have the latest news on the stadium as and when it breaks on the channel, as well as anything else regarding managers or players. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching. See you after.